Look at this is Cayden's
Here's what I
playoff
have.
picture, and we extended it just in case they go to an 18.
Yeah, my top four and then my next four. Florida State, respect the 23 straight wins. Mississippi State, unbeaten. I tell you, I watched them yesterday. That's a good team. They don't look a cut above to me or anything, but I give them respect for being 8-0 or 7-0. Auburn at 3 because the K-State win was really, really good on the road in Manhattan. Oregon at 4 because the Michigan State victory was really impressive. I think Alabama's better than both those teams, and I think their A game is probably better than anybody in the country, but they've got to pick up some quality wins. They will, so they're at 5. Notre Dame at 6. I mean, their best performance is a loss, so you can't have them in the top 4. Georgia 7, Michigan State 8. Michigan State's not going to make it for me. There is no way I'd put a Big Ten team in my top 4.
Yeah, Minnesota loses yesterday. Ohio State should have lost yesterday. They had to go to overtime at Penn State. All right, here's a look at my top 8, and I added a few more but my ultimate goal, folks, is that I'm willing to risk the first year of the playoff to have chaos so we can have other conferences get so mad that we have an 18 playoff before the 12-year period.
And the greatest chaos thinkable is what? 4 SEC teams?
Florida
State loses somewhere?
No. The greatest thing would be having 3 SEC teams in Notre Dame, because that would leave 4
word.
conferences of the 5 out.
It would change
so they would get so mad, they would get so upset, so irate that they would get into the television boardrooms and say, "We need an extended playoff." But here's what I have. I still can't believe Florida State's not number 1 in the polls. Mississippi State 2, Alabama 3, and Notre Dame 4.
Yeah, and that's completely reasonable. And if that happens, 3 of the major conferences will be shut out. Not 4, but 3. And I think you're right. We might be on our way to an 18 playoff.
And I'm just wondering why Kansas State is not getting more love. So I put them in the top 8.
Their loss was at home.
But it was
to a team that has a loss, right? It was to Auburn, but most people. I mean, you have Auburn at 6.
I've got Ole Miss and TCU tied for 8. Flip a coin to see who would go in the top 8.
Let me also say this about Kansas State. You should have beaten them. You know what I mean?
But they didn't.
Yeah, I know, but it was
Kansas State should have beaten Auburn.
Missed field goals. And if Kansas State goes 11-1 at that point, I will concede a lot. I mean, they've had a really nice year, but they absolutely should have lost to OU, and they did lose to Auburn at home. So to me, that's not a top 4
But they
team.
lost to Auburn in the same way that OU lost to Kansas State.
Yeah, good team, top 10 or 12 team, but not top 4.
All right.